guys, Cindy the Scrapologist here. I'm doing something a little different today. I've had a lot of people ask to see my studio, and I was holding off on that because of pride. I'm being honest. We're restoring a 170-year-old house. Well, quite often I've called it a 200-year-old house, but we just found something recently that we think it's only 170 years old. But the house needs a ton of work, and so does my craft studio. But you all like old things like I do, and you'll understand this is all a work in progress. I'm going to show you the craft studio, warts and all. But the main thing that I think is, first of all, you've asked for it, and I want to, things that you're curious about, I'm happy to talk about for the most part. And but also, because we have so much restoration work to do, I'm not spending a lot of money redoing my studio. I brought a lot of things from the other place where we lived previously, but I really love repurposing things. And so what I hope you'll get out of this is you'll find some really good organization and storage tips that you can do on a budget, because that's certainly what I've done here. And so I hope it gives you some ideas. And also, if you're having a hard time being organized, that's something I'm super good at. I have to be organized or I just can't work. It's just the way my brain functions. I'm messy, like when it comes to vacuuming and dusting and things like that. I'm terrible, but I'm really organized. So maybe you'll get some tips on how to organize your workspace. That's what I hope. So thank you for asking. Thank you for wanting me to share my room with you. And let's take a tour.
Okay, so I told you we were going to show the warts first. So the first thing in this house are the ceilings. Every single ceiling in this 4,400 square foot house looks like this. And the most depressing part is the bedroom, because you lay in bed and you look up at this. It seems overwhelming. And then we have minimal electrical in here. I just have a bare bulb. So the ceilings all need work. There are the old plaster and lath. You can see the electrical. I have extension cords everywhere because I only have one outlet in this room.
So I'm hoping that someday I will have my husband, who is formerly an electrician, maybe we'll start on this room first. One of the cool things about the house is one of the ways you can date the house is you see that the nails are square. So they're all handmade nails. Every one of these are handmade nails. This floor is not refinished. It's just completely bare. The floors downstairs are finished, but these aren't. So that's another wart. The other thing are the windows. We have almost close to 50 windows in the house, and every one of them needs to be reglazed. Some of them have glass missing. They all look hideous from the outside. So, and they're dirty, dirty, dirty. So the windows are another wart. So anyway, let me show you my favorite part of my studio, and that's my workstation. So here it is. Don't mind the trash there. But I saw this on Pinterest. I'm going to try to find the link and put it below. This is my standing workstation. I have a ton of overuse injuries from all the years that I played piano, as I've mentioned before. And so I really do better when I'm standing. So this desk has cubbies on the front and also cubbies on the side. This is where I store my cardstock. There's one on each side. This is about 4 feet tall, and it's a really nice size workstation. I absolutely love it, and it really wasn't all that expensive to make. But I just felt that the workstation really is the most important part of, of trying to create something. And then I have my computer and my camera set up here. I've done a video on that before. It's super simple, and that was inexpensive as well. And then everything that I use often, I keep right close to me. This little thing spins. And it's got my scissors and my bone folder and my ATG gun, and I really like that because I can keep everything right there, and it just spins if I need it. And then I have my trusty Tim Holtz stamp pad, and my favorite stamps are always right there. And then I have my order, so that's 2 orders there. I have an order here, an order here, and 2 orders here. And notice how organized I keep them. So this, when I'm done, I have all these little boxes that I've just made out of chipboard, and I keep all of my orders super organized when they're works in process. This is an IKEA knockoff. I bought 2 shelves and put them up because I needed some drawers here. Some things I like to hide away, some things I like to have out where I can see them. So this is loaded up with tags and paper clips and things like that. I got this pretty little bowl from the dollar store there. And then this is super funny. I have to tell you about this. So this is just a cardboard box. I was walking through the grocery store, and this had fruit in it or something, and I asked the checkout, well, the stock boy, I don't know if that's a politically correct term, but you know what I mean, the person stocking shelves, what he was going to do with it. He was going to throw it away, and it's really solid cardboard, actually. So he gave it to me, and I just covered these areas with wallpaper. And this is going to work for me temporarily. I want to eventually get 2 more of these. There's enough room to put 2 more. But for some reason, they're out of stock right now. I haven't been able to get them ever since the virus. I guess people are stocking up on these. So, but this definitely works for me. In the meantime, I'm super happy with it, and it was free. I also have my little caddy here. This has, I think this was meant for a bathroom. It has little glass cups. And I just keep all my tools in it, my little hand tools, pens and pencils, my awl, some other things right in there. So this is the main workstation where everything happens. And then if you move over here, I bought this at an antique store, and because I needed something for my stamp pads, and I absolutely love it. I think it's perfect for the stamp pads. I put a little rod in here where the, whatever you call these, I can't think of the name right now, brackets, where the brackets are, and I have my washi tape hanging there. It's a problem now that I'm using this. I'll have to figure out what to do with that, but what I would do is just pull the rod out and get whatever washi tape I needed, and that was working out really well for me. And then I've got all my stamp pads in there. I just have an old tin that had some tea in it that I covered with scrapbook paper, and it has all my colored pencils in it. And that's that. That was a little bit of an expenditure, maybe $25. I can't really remember. But for the most part, I haven't spent much. And then an old bookshelf that I found at a yard sale. We have really tall ceilings, and so I like to go up as much as possible. And a couple of cool things. I'm very sentimental, and so is my mother. She kept my little growing up stick from when I was little. She stopped at about 3 years. I was 28 whole pounds. Much more than that now. And then this was hanging above my crib when I was a baby. And then that's my teddy bear from when I was 3 years old. So I'm not going to tell you how old that is, but it's old. And this scary monkey thing we found in the attic when we bought the house. I'm thinking maybe he's a Shriner monkey because of the little hat and the bell, but he definitely looks handmade. You can see the hand stitching there, and it feels like horsehair or dog hair, some really coarse hair on it. And he's kind of creepy, but you know, he came with the house, so we gotta keep him. And then this is my little teddy bear here, and he's got a little fluff of dog hair in there from our 2 German Shepherds that we lost within a couple weeks of each other. Very sad. So I like to just keep that there. This here is just an old dresser. The foot broke when a contractor moved it when he was painting the walls in here. But I painted the front with chalkboard paint, And my primary colors in here are lime green on the walls and watermelon. Don't ask me why, I just wanted bright colors because the rest of the house is kind of going to be that antique colonial color, and they didn't use bright colors, so I wanted this to be a happy place. But I painted this with chalkboard paint, and when my mother's hand recovers, she had to have surgery on her hand. She has gorgeous handwriting, and so I'm going to have her write on each drawer what is in each drawer. She's going to write in cursive with chalk. And this is just stuff like my stamps, scraps of fabric, leather, things that I just want out of sight. The other storage item which I really love is these drawers. Anytime I can find these drawers, I grab them. Now these were probably no more than $5 to $8, and I love the hardware on them. When you can find these a lot at antique stores and yard sales, because once the dresser or the storage unit is missing even one drawer, they can't really get any money for it, but they can get money if they pull the drawers out and sell the drawers individually. So that's what I do. Is I like to collect these, and you can store a ton of ephemera in these. I have another one right here. There's another one, and the hardware is just so cool. So that's a really cheap but pretty storage idea. If you want to go really cheap, remember these? I'm sure you guys have bought these clementines. They come in a really solid wooden box, and sometimes when I have these, this is all stuff in my shop, or stuff that needs to get put in my shop, and so I have a little bit of an overflow. I needed another box, and I grabbed one of those, but these work great. I also make my own boxes out of chipboard when I need some extra storage. My other storage trick that I really love is apple boxes. Here's an apple box. And I live in Maine, so Maine is for apples. We're known for our Macintosh, and falls are just wonderful. They smell so good, and we have apple pie and apple crisp and applesauce, you name it.
Mmm, yummy.
And if you buy a bushel of apples, sometimes the farmer will give you the apples in a wooden apple crate. So I bought some of these. I couldn't get anybody to give them to me for free last year, so I bought some of these and painted them white. This one's just vertical on top of my dresser, and I have some antique books in there. And then panning over here, here's 3 more apple boxes. So here I took 3 apple boxes and hung them on the wall sideways, and then I just bought some of those really cheap baskets, you know, those collapsible baskets that you can get at Walmart all day long. Those were probably $5 a piece. And that again is stuff that I just don't want to be out and be seen. I only like stuff out that I need to see, that I know I'm gonna get to it quickly. So I have glue sticks in here and my Mod Podge and things like that. And then another configuration of apple boxes is over here. So on this one, I stained 2 and painted 2, and I have 2 vertical and 2 sideways. And I have some stuff stored in there, some book covers that I'm working on, some antique books, my bling and brads and things like that. And I also love cigar boxes. They're really good for certain types of ephemera. If you have little fussy cut stuff, that's what I primarily have in my cigar boxes is fussy cut stuff. So there's that. And then over here, this area is still kind of a mess. I'm looking for another a wide but low bookshelf, because this is stuff that I do want out and want seen. I use it quite often. It's all my paper, my old book pages that I'm tearing apart. I have my 1940s typewriter here with a little love note from my hubby in it, and digis from my shop that I'm working with, and stuff that needs to get put in the shop, and just it's kind of work in progress. And so I just threw an old curtain over it just to cover it, and I have more stuff under there in boxes. So this area is still a work in progress. Probably the most expensive thing in the room is right here. I paid, I think, about $120 for this. That's more than I paid for anything. And most other things are less than $5. But this, I really felt I needed my scrapbook paper to be visible to me. And as a matter of fact, I need a second one. I'm going to put it right there. I really like having all my paper out so I can see exactly what I have, and it's fun. It feels like I'm going to the store when I go and look to see what I have. But you can see on the floor there I have more scrapbook paper, so I definitely need another one of these at some point soon. And then over here is, well, there's little Lily. She's in her little acorn. She's my little companion. Say hi, Lily. My little multi-poo. But here is a table that was in the basement when we bought the house, and I love, 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 love the tabletop. Look at it. It was in the basement in the guy's workshop, and it's got paint all over it and circles from setting down paint cans, and I just love it. But it has my book press on it. That sucker is heavy. So I had the same contractor that built my standing workstation. I had him build a really heavy-duty base for this with a shelf so that it could hold my book press. And I've been pressing flowers and ferns in there recently, and I'm getting ready to put another book in there for a custom order. This, probably going to be getting rid of this. I thought it was a great idea at first, but it takes up a lot of room, and I tend to ignore this stuff. I don't know. It just doesn't work for me, so I'm going to find a different... I think I'd rather just have all this stuff in a drawer hidden away somewhere than taking up table space. Not sure. I need to figure that out too. And then if you pan over here, this is my sewing area right here. So I just have my sewing machine on my mother's antique sewing table, actually. And I made myself a bulletin board. Saw this on Pinterest. And let me move the curtain here out of the way. Just, whoop. And it's watermelon and lime green and some other colors, and it's just ribbon that's put on a painter's canvas that was really cheap at Hobby Lobby, and it's affixed with brads. So I have some of my sewing stuff up there and just some positive sentiments. And then up here is something that I got at a yard sale. It's an actual kitchen cabinet that was unfinished, so I got it really cheap. It was brand new, and because it was going to go in my sewing space, I bought these cute little buttons that look like, these cute little handles that look like buttons, and I just have pretty much my sari silk and some miscellaneous antique trims and things like that in there. I'm sorry, I'm trying to stay still and trying not to jiggle. And then up here I have buttons and more trim. I did have somebody a friend make me a holder for my spools of lace and stuff. It's kind of a mess right now, but I really like that. And then this I got at Hobby Lobby. I really loved it. It's because I love buttons. I can't get enough buttons. So it's just mason jars, and they're held on with one of these doohickeys. I don't know what you call those. Some kind of hardware. And then I put hooks down here. So I have my sari silk. And then this embroidery thread I found at a thrift store. And then this little unit here just has a bunch of miscellaneous stuff in it. This was actually something at the makeup station in my husband's photography studio, and he didn't want it anymore, so he gave it to me. And it's got really nice drawers that open up, and it's also on wheels. So I have a lot of jewelry making stuff in there, and metal and twine, and some of my antique thread is in the bottom. So, thanks, hubby. And you can see the floor's a mess, and I've got an extension cord going over to my sewing machine. Another expense, well, let me show this first. This is the most popular pin that I have on Pinterest. This is, it's really funny. It's an old rake, old rusted out rake that I found on our property when we had our cabin in Arizona, and I just hang my scissors off of it, and it's the most popular pin that gets repinned, which is kind of funny. But then this here is a closet, and this also was a little bit of an expense, but I needed to do this. I bought one of these closet organizers, and I know it doesn't look very organized, but this is my shipping closet. I just wanted all the shipping supplies to be out of the way and not, you know, sitting in the studio. So I have the shipping supplies in there, and then also a bunch of antique fabric and wallpaper books. And then these I love. These are the little plastic cases that you can get. I'm pretty sure you can still get them at Hobby Lobby. These were $7.50. But then I take my label maker and I label them, and then I know exactly what's in there, and when I have a project that I'm working on, I can just pull it right out, and everything's all in one place and organized. So I love that. So there's that, and then we pan over here. This is my watermelon pegboard. Now you can really see the watermelon. So I spray painted it watermelon. I got this at Harbor Freight for really cheap. It came with all the hardware, except for this. I bought this thread holder at Walmart. It's just a wooden thread holder that I stuck on there with some pegs, and it has all my vintage thread, all my wooden spools and vintage thread on there. I've got some glue, and I bought a magnetic strip, and this has brads that I can just quickly grab instead of searching for them. Some of my tools, my awl, my sewing scissors, paint, some of my punches, and a couple things we found up in the attic. She's real pretty. I cleaned her up and put her up there. Another Hobby Lobby buy, purchase. I wait until I get a 40% off coupon, so another item that we found in the attic. She's pretty. So this is just some buckets, some metal buckets that are hanging, and I have some glue sticks, markers, paint brushes, things of that sort, hanging in there right next to my workstation. And then the last thing is this bookshelf that I got at a thrift store, a yard sale. I took the back off so that the lime green walls would show through. And I have my piano rolls. I have more bins that just loaded with tags and photo mats and belly bands. Antique books. And these are my baby dolls. They were my scary babies. They were my grandmother and my grandmother's doll and her sister's doll. And I used to play with these. They were very precious to me when I was a little girl. And so they were given to me when they passed. And everybody hates these dolls but me. I think they're very special and beautiful. But you can insert some scary music here if they frighten you. And they have my dad's old clothes. Yes, Dad wore dresses when he was a little teeny baby. So those are that's the way they dressed, with the little hats. So those are his baby clothes on there. I think that's about it. Forgot to show you one workstation right here. This is another table that was in the basement that's all grungy, and I love it. This is all I have. Besides my book press and sewing machine, this is all I have for tools. I don't really think that we need to spend a lot of money on the latest gadget. So I have my Silhouette Cameo so that I can do some lettering if I want. I bought the Vintage Big Kick because this one also does metal. It will emboss metal. And then I have what I call my Purple Monster, and this is just this cuts through leather to adhere brads and things like that. And of course the dog toy. I've got to have the dog toy up here. But that's the other area. And then down there, just some plastic bins. This is my junk drawer. You know, there's just always a place, there's always something that just doesn't fit anywhere else. And I just throw it in there, and every once in a while when I'm looking for something, I'll sort through there and see what I have. And that's about all I can say about that. So yeah, that's... I hope that gave you some ideas of how you can cheaply organize and how nice it is to be organized. That's about it for now. I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye-bye.